So we're shooting Brown Mum on the train. We're going to Edinburgh today, and I'm with Kieran and Nisha. And I'm going to be asking them a few questions about motherhood and their journeys and advice and things. So yeah, let's get started. So this is Nisha, also known as Girlicious.
Hello.
You are baby mama to Zavi.
I am, and he's only 9 weeks.
Oh my god.
So I'm a new mum on the run. So as I'm very early in my motherhood journey, I think the worst comments I've received is always about temperature and, oh, put a blanket on, oh, he's really cold, or oh, he's going to freeze. No, he's not. The room is big and hot and he's fine. Doctors have told me about the temperatures. They've told me not to cover him in blankets, and in fact you're not actually meant to use blankets and cots. So there's one. So the way I deal with it is by saying, no, he's fine, he doesn't need it. Very simple, very short and sweet, and just straight to the point. And I think that's the only way they'll understand that they can give me the comments, but I'm not going to listen to them.
So we've got Kieran here.
Hello, that's me.
Another brown mum.
So I've got a daughter who's 5, and I have a little boy who's 2. Thinking back to when my daughter was little, I think throughout the night, children often cry, they often wake up. There's always comments about she's hungry, give her some milk. If she's fed more, she'll sleep better. When we just know this is probably just a normal pattern, you don't want these comments. You then have to be blunt and be like, no, I'm confident she's not. There might be other reasons why. She might just want a bit of comfort. And I think once you're still, they just need to give it a bit of time.
Yeah, good. Recorded. Okay, so my unsolicited advice was from a lot of people actually, and it was, don't hold her too much. You're gonna spoil her. Don't rock her. You're gonna spoil her. Don't let her contact nap. You're gonna spoil her. And it was constant. And because I had a child who I breastfed, I felt like she constantly needed that comfort, and she always wanted to be on me. And she slept so much better when she contact napped. And I feel like, if anything, there's something I'd like to say to new mums is, do you know what? Enjoy those contact naps. I got through a whole series of This Is Us because she contact napped. And it's fine. She sleeps in her own bed now. She's 2.5 years old. Actually, I lied. She doesn't sleep in her own bed. She sleeps by herself in our bed. But, you don't spoil them. You don't. That's the only time you get to cuddle them, hold them. Eventually they grow out of the cuddles and they'll be running off with their friends. So I would say just ignore you're going to spoil them. Pick them up as much as you want. Cuddle them as much as you want.
My biggest challenge would be his feeds. So I started off predominantly breastfeeding and giving breast milk, and then my supply has just massively decreased. So there was a period where I was about 80% breast milk expressing, and it was about 20% formula, whereas now it's like 95% formula and 5% breast. So I literally can't have him on the breast, and I have to use nipple shields, which does make it a little bit more difficult because I feel like you're faffing around. One minute you're trying to hold your boob in place, trying to shove on a nipple shield whilst you're trying to get him on without the shield falling. So the actual breastfeeding I can't do successfully, and I feel like there's not enough milk coming out purely because he's never full, and that's consistently. So I think I've started to just express, bank up my milk and give it to him when I need it, or at least I can freeze it and use it for a rainy day. So I think right now my challenge is trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do with his feeds, because I feel like there is a lot I want to do and I want to be able to breastfeed him, but I'm finding it difficult. So I'm going to stick with formula and possibly just give him maybe a bottle of breast milk every day, or try and increase my milk supply, which I know you can do from the doctors. I know there's medication and tablets which I've looked into, but I also want to see the side effects, because then you don't want it to go into the stream of your baby. So it's always a catch-22 of what should I do. So that is probably my biggest challenge at the moment.
Okay, so I would say at the moment we're having 2 kids. One's at school, one just goes to nursery part-time. I think it's feeling guilty between the 2 as well. So there might be, I don't work every day of the week, luckily, so I've got 2 days with my son, but then it's hard with my daughter because actually I have no time where it's just me and her. Because on the weekend, obviously my little boy's there, and I'm just trying to feel guilty to actually dedicate some time to her, which I try to do every kind of half-term holidays. We try and do a day out together. But also trying to, on my days off, that's the days I've got appointments or may need to go to the dentist, for example, or kind of do some homework or try and spend time with her when it's just me and her in an evening, just to make sure she gets that time, because like you said, school is pretty much full on, and then she goes swimming after school clubs and everything, just a bit rush.
So my biggest challenge right now is I have a 2.5-year-old. She's actually going to be 3 in April, and it's the constant negotiation to brush your teeth, go for a wee, eat your food. It's like, no, no, no. And it's now that she's got a choice, even to the point of when I'm dressing her for nursery, and she's like, don't like that, don't want to wear them, I don't want them socks. I grew up in a very Punjabi household, so the way they dealt with us saying no was like, God, get on with it kind of thing. And I have to make sure I don't do that with my daughter and try and explain and try and be a little bit more gentle, even though I just want to be like, when she's going through a bit of a no tantrumy phase, or she's just not playing ball, I have to just walk out, give it a couple of minutes, come back in and ask nicely again. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, it's that figuring out stage at the moment, because I don't want it to constantly be negotiations, especially for something like brushing your teeth. Woman, just do it. You're gonna have smelly breath otherwise.
So I think mine would be my diet. So postnatal, I don't think I've kept up with a very good diet, drinking enough water, and I think that could also be a reason to my milk supply as well, because I'm not having enough water inside of me. And one piece of advice I was given by a lot of nurses is drink to increase your supply, because everything that's coming out of you, you need that inside of you anyways to begin with. So I don't think I've been great with diet and food and how much I'm eating and the calories that I'm having, and even just water. So if I was to go back, I would have a better diet. I would have a bit more of a routine, which is easy to say, and it's not necessarily means it's going to happen, because life does take over, and I'm not thinking about my own routine before my son's routine. I'm thinking about him first. But maybe I would just ask for a bit more help, and ask people to, like, can you just make me something, or can you just get me a big bottle of water? So I would ask for the help a little bit more for myself.
I think, particularly the second time around with my little boy, is kind of be conscious of screen time. Especially with an older sibling who might then in the afternoons or in an evening want to watch something on Netflix or something on the TV. It's just them being limiting that, because I think then Hadvan got exposed a bit more to it, and then they get used to it, the stimulation. So I feel like I wish I was a bit stricter with that from a younger age. I don't think it's impacted in him like that. I think inevitably in this age, everyone's on their phones. We've all got a phone on them, so I think inevitably something's going to change. But I feel like I probably could have been a bit more aware of it in the back of my head when he was a bit littler.
The one thing I could go back and change is block out the sleep training noise. Oh my God, I was so obsessed with wake windows. She needs to sleep by herself. She needs to be in the car. She has to have this much sleep. Why isn't she sleeping in the car? Blah, blah, blah. And I was constantly stressing. I was reading so much about it, and I was looking at everybody else's child or children and comparing, and I was like, why is Barney just not sleeping, and she's like, there's something wrong with her. And I think I've become so obsessive, I made it miserable for myself. I tried like a little bit of sleep training with her. I didn't stick to it because it made me absolutely miserable, but I just think one thing I would definitely say is just block out the sleep training noise, because you've got to do what's right for you, and it works for some people and it doesn't for others. And I think you've just got to lead by what your child is like. Like Barney isn't, I mean, even to this day, she doesn't need a lot of sleep. She dropped a nap at like 2 and she's been fine. And I just needed to tune into her a little bit more, rather than trying to box her in to schedules and everything. So just to not kind of be too regimented, especially early on as well, because you're still figuring everything out right now.
It was very hard to begin with, whereas right now I've actually come home for 2 weeks, and honestly there is nothing better than that. So I feel like if you live away from your family and you have the capacity and you can actually go home for a little bit, 100% take it, because I do feel like when you go back home, you know, like naturally my mum is making sure I'm taken care of by taking care of my little one. Like right now I'm sat on a train going to Edinburgh, knowing that my mum is looking after Zavi, and the self-care she's given me is, Nisha, go have a little bit of time for yourself, go out, I've got him, just let your mind be free for a little bit, enjoy yourself, because when you go back you are going to be pretty much doing it on your own, because your husband's back at work. And if I can help you right now, let you have a bit of fun, do what you got to do it. So this is the self-care I'm having. So going home for me has been amazing. Having a bath, which my Bobby did for me. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And that's the first bath I've had since throughout all my pregnancy, postnatal, I never had a bath. So the fact that I've had one, it sounds like such a little thing, but it was like the best thing ever. Just lie in a bath and soak and de-stress. So definitely being around people that are completely taking care of you just by looking after your little one massively helps.
Trying. So yeah, juggling school, nursery, pickups, and things can be hard. Particularly the weekends are always busy doing some sort of function with the kids or some sort of kids party you've got to show for them too. So trying to find the time to go to the gym, particularly on like a weekday morning when I know my husband's at home, or like today booking little trips with the girls, or just something to kind of plan and look forward to. It might not be that often, but it is something. I booked in for a facial next week. So just little things like that. Luckily, I've got a really good mother-in-law, so as long as I give her some notice, generally she's more than happy to look after Hadvin if I need to. It's good just to plan and take advantage a little bit of them things at times.
A couple of things actually. So I do kickboxing on Monday, and honestly, for that hour, it's great exercise. The only exercise I really get outside of dancing, but it's so nice to just have time to focus on just like my fitness and like just get out a bit of aggression and just do something for me. Something that I'm trying to do more of is hot pod yoga. I absolutely love it. It's such a de-stress. I mean, I'm not the greatest at yoga, so I go for the nurture classes, which are really calm, really soothing. But I did that last week, and I found I was so much better in myself. I could show up for Barney a little bit more, and I think it's so important. As much as when it's dark and you don't want to go out and you don't want to go to your gym or your kind of exercise classes, it's so important to try and force yourself to go, because that's the time that you get to put back into yourself, and you are more energized, you just feel better in yourself, and you can just show up for your little ones.
But my best advice that I was given that I would pass on is have all the cuddles, and that there's no such thing as there's too much, because they're going to grow up one day and you're going to miss the fact that your baby wants to lie in your arms guzzled between your breasts, because it's more than likely never going to happen when they're older, and it's a bit weird if they do. So that's mine. Like, just take advantage of them being small and snuggly, and if housework doesn't need to be done, don't do it. Like, it's not the end of the world. Just chill, lie with your child, it'll get done. Your partner can do it. You chill out.
Do you know when people ask what you need, you just be like, "Oh, do you want to just clean my house?"
Do you know what? That one. When people want to come over and they're like, "Can we see the baby?" You can see the baby if you're going to cook, clean my bathroom. If you're not going to do that, stay at home.
I would say is actually not to ask people for too much advice. So I feel the more you ask, the more differing answers you get, and that just reflects how different children are, or people's situations or circumstances. So I would say if you're struggling with something, you might want to reach out to one or two people, see what they're saying, but see what fits for you. If actually what they're advising goes against kind of what's in your gut, what's in your heart, then it probably isn't right for you and your family. So I'd just be cautious about what you kind of ask people for, because you will get so many different answers. Even if you do ask for advice, you don't have to take it. I would say do what's best for you. As long as you've got a happy baby, a happy house, then you're doing everything right.
Amen. Best advice I was given was from my cousin Binder, and she said to me, "And the days are long, but the years are short." The most factual saying I've ever come across. I feel like during those newborn days, a lot of people know that it was hard. It was very like monotonous. The days felt forever because the days were turning into nights, the nights were turning into days, and it was just constant all the time. And it was almost like Groundhog Day sometimes, when you haven't been anywhere, don't know if it's Sunday or Tuesday. And those days felt so long. But now Barney's 2.5 years old, and I'm like, holy crap, where did all that time go? And like the years are just flying, and I just think, yes, like when you're having a tough time, hang in there and just remember the days feel long, but the years are so short. So just enjoy those moments. And that's it.